I was a 1975 graduate from Brother Rice, and I remember very closely how the similarities of what you're going through and what I was trying to figure out how to get through Brother Rice and what I was going to do with my life. And it went all over the place. And I think one of the things that I think you'll learn here at Brother Rice is the spirit of entrepreneurship and self-reliance. My trip, my journey through life has been a lot of curves and twists and turns, and it started here at Brother Rice. When I left here, I got a very good general education, learned how to respond to changing conditions, and in these times, it's always a very good lesson to learn. I went to the University of Notre Dame on a football scholarship, and I was encouraged not to go into the architecture department, the architectural engineering department, because of the demands of architecture and the time allotted to football. A lot of architecture classes go from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 5, and football practice at Notre Dame was from 3 to about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night every day. So one of the things that I struggled with at Notre Dame was even just getting into the architecture department. So as a student, I sort of I signed up for general classes at Notre Dame, and I took my electives. I took all architecture courses instead of taking like a philosophy or a theology class or a typing or accounting or ballroom dancing, which was one of the things that was offered when I was at Notre Dame. I took architecture courses that were the core courses for freshmen. And after one semester, I worked very hard to get those grades up, and I was able to convince the architecture department that I was capable of balancing football at Notre Dame and the demands of architecture, which is what I ended up doing. I finally, at the end of the second semester, I was allowed to get into the architecture department at Notre Dame. And it was a 5-year curriculum. In that curriculum at Notre Dame, in order to stay on top of things, I had to go to summer school. 4 years of it's a 5-year curriculum, as I mentioned. 4 years I was at summer school. Rarely came home, but was able to get my degree at Notre Dame and get a fairly decent. I ended up with a 3.5 grade point average to graduate at Notre Dame. Getting out in 1980, I was in the job market, and it was very similar to what it is now. Architects were not being hired. It was a very difficult time in construction. There was a downturn in 1980. We're just coming off the fuel embargo. This way before you guys were born, but there was a fuel embargo. We had hostages in Iran, and the economy was kind of tanking like it is right now. So it was very difficult to get a job. So at that time, with the engineering courses that I took at Notre Dame, I was able to sell myself as an industrial engineer, as an industrial planner. So I sent my resume out to Texas Instruments in Dallas, Texas, and I was hired as an industrial planner and convinced the people there that I was capable of doing industrial layouts, factory layouts, exhaust systems engineering, water management, and several of the engineering courses that I had taken at Notre Dame. I tried to apply to this kind of a new job, and that took me to defense equipment engineering at Texas Instruments, and we manufactured guidance systems for radar for airplanes to be able to map topography and go at twice the speed of sound at about 150 feet off the ground. We also developed the HARM missile, which was a missile that would lock into enemy radar, the surface radar that would be launched from a jet platform and take out the radar, would lock in on the signal and find out where that system was and would destroy it. That was used in the first Gulf War, and it was used extensively. It's still being used to this date, that same system, radar system to keep to protect our troops and protect our men on airplanes and in the Navy as well. These systems are, like I said, are still being used today. After a few years of that, I started up the Colorado Springs facility, and that was one of the other systems that we worked on there. They did, again, they did some high-speed ground reconnaissance systems for the German Air Force, for NATO, and at that point, the Germans, East Germany was unifying with West Germany. The Soviet Union was falling, and a lot of those defense systems, electronics, engineering, business prototypes were falling away. When the Berlin Wall went down, the Soviet Union was no longer a threat to the United States, so that in turn, that whole industry, defense systems engineering, and that industry all throughout the United States just dissolved, like almost overnight. So I was faced with another dilemma at that point, like what was I going to do with myself? I had a degree in architecture, I'd been practicing industrial engineering, and done some construction work and the like, and I had to make some quick decisions. I had a family. I married a lady from Notre Dame, and we had one child already and one on the way. So I had to figure out a way to kind of repackage myself. So as a construction manager, I was able to turn my resume again here in the Detroit area with a big company called Walbridge Aldinger, and they were designing and building the Nissan Research and Development Technical Headquarters in Farmington Hills, and some of you might have seen that. I was able to, again, sell myself as a sort of an architect, engineer, and construction manager to Walbridge Aldinger and convince them that I would be a good partner, a good teammate for them, and had to bring value. I had to sort of package myself and convince them that I could help them make money. And I did. I think I did a good job of finding ways to save money, finding ways to meet schedules, understanding the design aspect of architecture and the construction aspect, and the usage of the interiors with an industrial type of plan of exhaust systems and things like that. Now, as all this was going on, I was still moonlighting as a designer and architect in my basement. I had a small studio in my house, and I was, trying to make ends meet. I was doing a lot of projects in the Birmingham area for restoration type of architecture for old homes, and it's something at Notre Dame I learned in the Beaux-Arts tradition, which is kind of an ancient design approach to architecture, and hadn't used it in years and years, but as trying to make ends meet, I was starting to open up a business here in the Birmingham area, trying to work on old homes and restore them into a usable, kind of an updated version of a home that families could live in and prosper and work on. And each time I finished one of those projects, I got 2 more by word of mouth, and then 2 more after that. I got 4, and then finally I got to the situation where I needed to go back to Walbridge Aldinger and tell them it was time for me to move on. And they were quick to let me know that they didn't want me working 2 businesses at once, so I was pretty much going to have to go it alone.